G'day folks, here's my January collection update. G'day folks, Jeff here, welcome back to the channel. This is another collection update. This is all the stuff that arrived in January, so this has got a bit of leftover stuff that I ordered from last year. I don't think I actually have any 2025 releases yet. Well, I do now in February, but not in January. So yeah, this has got a few that I've already talked about in my year-end list, so we'll skip over those quickly. I'll try and keep this one under an hour. Last one was a bit lengthy. So yeah, and some old classics in this as well, some quite old ones that were remastered and remixed. So, and yeah, just a few ones that I missed in the past, and plenty of new stuff as well. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, might as well start off with probably the heaviest thing that I got this month. First up is Moondark with the Abysmal Wound. This came out on Pulverized Records. I actually got this from Plastic Head in England because Pulverized, even though they're from Singapore, for some reason their postage to Australia is horrendous. So I'd like to order from them because they release a hell of a lot of good stuff. But yeah, it was easier to get it from England, which makes no sense. But oh well. Glad I bloody got it though, because this album rules. This is Swedish Death Doom. This is actually the first proper album. They only ever did one release, which was like 1993's The Shadow Path, which if you've watched my top 20 Swedish death metal ones, this one definitely got in the list of that. So, because yeah, this is stupidly heavy, you could say. So this is kind of a side project of Interment guys, as well as I think there's some October Tide guys in them now as well. So yeah, originally they just did that one sort of demo, which is pretty much an album really. It sounds bloody killer and is like 40 minutes long or something, so it's not really much of a demo. So, and then they just split up for donkey's years. They got back together in 2014 just to play gigs and so on, and then a couple of years ago decided, what the hell, let's do an album. So yeah, I'm very happy they did, because this friggin' rules. It's just ridiculously detuned. So yeah, this is Death Doom sort of stuff. Probably a bit more, it's just really slow death metal really. There's not a giant amount of pure doom about it, but yeah, this is not quite as ridiculously heavy and detuned as the Shadow Path, but it does have a slightly clearer, more modern production. But don't let that fool you, it's still stupid stuff. Just rumbling goodness, that's for sure. Really thick riffs. The vocalist on this isn't the OG guy, which is a bit of a shame because he sounded stupendous on the Shadow Path, but this is the current guy from October Tide, and he's got a very deep, very powerful voice. You can sort of actually understand the lyrics for once, which is kind of nice. This just comes on boring black vinyl, but who cares? On this, they have really eerie sort of leads that are just a bit more pronounced than the last one, and very effective. Really well done, especially on, I think it's Suffer the Dark. It's just supremely grand sort of doom riff. There's definite bolt thrower feels on this, as there was on the Shadow Path really, but on this one, what is it? Infernal Genocide, I believe, has just a Realm of Chaos, just a riff straight out of World Eater, I think, and then this kind of slowed down version of the ending, the Cenotaph start riff that they fade in and out of songs. So yeah, good praise to obviously one of their major influences. I think it's, Palliative Dusk is probably one of my favourites on here. It's just mandatory headbanger, especially the bit, it's like a chorus where he just growls, slow death. Oh, you got to hear it, it's bloody effective. So yeah, this is just stupidly heavy, just really grand sounding as well. I love it. This is perfect sort of music for me. This is kind of like a dusty ancient one waking up from a ancient slumber and laying waste to the whole world. That's pretty much it. This is totally worth the wait, I reckon. I still slightly prefer the Shadow Path just because it's just a smidge heavier and more ridiculous, but this friggin' killer. This probably should have been on my top 20 albums from last year, but I got it 2 days before I filmed that video. I hadn't really listened to it quite enough, but now I have, and yeah, it continues to be listened to a lot because this album bloody rules. Alright, up next is one I got from the band. This is Internal Rot split with Moisturizer. This came out on Anthems of the Undesirable, I think a Canadian label maybe. This split between two grind bands, and tough as hell, especially the Internal Rot side. That's who I got this from. So yeah, Melbourne grind band, just stupid heavy and really heavy on this actually. The sound is really dense and thick on this. I like it quite a lot actually. Had me going tough guy riff face pretty regularly. So yeah, fast as hell, catchy grind. You know what they sound like. It really doesn't sound too different, that's for sure. Although I do love the previous, the sort of brief period of Mosh riff sort of style on the Endless Fascination. It doesn't last long, but there's a brief sort of like, get the circle pit going for 5 seconds before the blast kick in sort of thing. And I think it's, Incorrigible Imp also has a sort of slowly more discernible riff for the usual sort of 2 measures before, the usual short but sweet bit. And the blasts return. So yeah, it's just heavy as hell. It's the first thing they've done for quite a while actually. So let's hope there's another album on the horizon because it's never enough internal rot. Moisturizer, the other band, are from Rhode Island in the US. I didn't really know this band. I'd seen the name around, but other than that, I don't know anything of theirs. Yeah, I didn't like this one quite as much. Mostly the sound. The sound's just, it's a bit too tinny and shitty sounding. Plus, it's got a snare that I wouldn't go quite as far as the Sananga sort of snare sound, but it's not that bad. But yeah, it's a bit tinny for my liking. But I love the energy. Like, it's just frenetic, crazy sort of stuff. Vocals are mostly sort of gruff, kind of hardcore-y sort of style. There's some really good screaming on, I think it's Cringe Incarnate. But yeah, lots of changes, lots of weird bits, which I do very much appreciate. So I like the music, just the sound didn't quite grab me so much. So I'll give you a squiz at it. The pictures, couldn't get a better picture maybe of internal rot there looking crazy. And there's Moisturizer. So yeah, it comes with like super shiny that probably look terrible on film stickers, and I think mine's a plain purpley kind of one. There were a couple of variants, but yeah, it didn't worry me too much. So I'll let the real nerd collectors get the crazy ones. But yeah, this is very bloody good EP. So yeah, if you like your grind fast and frenetic, definitely check this one out. All right, up next is quite a decent batch of stuff I got from Extremely Rotten Productions in Denmark, legendary label. First up is Mortuary Ghoul with their album Norman. This came out on Dismal Fate. This is I think a one-man band from America somewhere. This is their second album, I think. And yeah, unsurprisingly being called Norman and having a picture of Norman Bates on the cover. This is a Psycho-themed one from the movie Psycho. So this is the second time they've done a Ed Gein sort of one, because the first album, Fun with Friends or whatever it was called, was inspired by Deranged, old 70s movie also about Ed Gein. So, I mean, Psycho is not exactly about Ed Gein, but it's vaguely inspired by. So, yeah, this has got samples all the way through of, straight out of the movie Psycho. And, yeah, these guys, they still sound like Mortician, really deep sound. Just ridiculously low-level tuning and, lots of meaty, chunky riffs. It doesn't sound exactly like Mortician, but, yeah, they're obviously still a big influence. And the drum machine on this is not quite as obvious. Maybe when they blast a bit, it gets a bit obvious, but yeah, some great songs on here. I think it's Stab is probably my favourite one on here, because they use that classic sort of, the classic shower scene stabbing strings sort of bit. They use it at the start, but then they also use it during the song, kind of in time with this riff. It sounds, I don't know, it just sounds perfect. Just this chunky sort of riff, just exact same time. Oh, I love it. It's a definite highlight on here for me. I mean, the samples are great. The Fruit Cellar one is always always a winner. So yeah, this is and yeah, you get lots of pictures from Psycho that I'm not sure on the legality of putting a still directly out of the movie on. Who cares? It's all good. It's inspired by. It's good advertising. While we're doing this, I might as well do this one as well. This is another Dismal Fate issue. This is a Mortuary Ghoul, again, split with Tenebro, which is a Italian, I think, death metal band. So yeah, pretty sure this just came out, or pretty recently at any rate, so spiffy looking tape. So yeah, this one's Tenebro, which it's inspired by the movie Dell'Amore della Morte, aka Cemetery Man, and there's our old mate, sidekick dude who's pretty legendary in the movie. I wasn't actually familiar with that movie, even though I should have been. I don't know why the hell I'd never seen it, so I watched it recently, and it was great fun. Highly recommend that. Probably more than this EP, actually. The movie is killer. So it's just kind of comedy horror movie, you could say, about a guy who works in a graveyard, and like a week after people are buried there, they come back to life and he has to kill them again by shooting them in the head. But, which, yeah, I mean, it's got its grimness to it, but it's more comedy, really, and he's sort of, falls in love with a woman that, yeah, anyway. I won't spoil it for you because it's definitely worth tracking down. So, yeah, Mortuary Ghoul sampled the English version of this. It's got like a British guy acting in it, so I'm assuming he was overdubbed for the Italian version. I mean, it's made by Italian director whose name I've now forgotten completely. Anyway, and I think Tenebro sampled the Italian version of the movie because it sounds similar sort of theme music and stuff. So, yeah, watch the movie first, and this will be even more fun, I reckon. So, Mortuary Ghoul, what do they get? I think each band gets about 3 songs on this. Yeah, it looks like it, 3 or 4. Their songs are pretty bloody good. More sounds pretty bloody similar to Norman, to tell the truth. I think Cursed Graveyard's the winner. It's just a nice blend of speed and sort of groove to it. The other band, Tenebro, are Italian death metal-y sort of band. There's really not many people involved in this. There's like Mortuary Ghoul's 1 guy, Tenebro's 2 guys. So, yeah, as I said, they're also sampling the movie, I'm assuming. I don't know, their stuff sounds a bit thin. It grows on you after a while. It's just one of those productions that takes a bit to get used to when you first put it on. It's like, oh, it's supposed to sound like that. They're a bit more splattery death metal than the Mortician sort of style. So one other complaint about this is the vocals are a bit quiet on this. I don't know, like the third song on this, which I cannot remember what the hell it's called, is something in Italian. Yeah, that's a bit more lively and probably my favourite song on this. So, man, still goes alright. I think their album from 2023, Ultima Grida dalla Giungla, or something or other, that sounds a lot better. I really do kind of need to track that down. I'll put a picture of it up because it's killer putrid artwork, I think. So that sounds quite a bit better than this. So, yeah, I mean, get this if you want, but you're probably better off getting the full-length albums of either band, unless you're a diehard Cemetery Man, a.k.a. Delamore Della Morte fan. So, yeah, still good fun, though, but I'm glad I got it. All right, also from Extremely Rotten Productions and coming out on their label is a Tetralogy of Death, Volume 2. So this is a 4-way split of 4 Danish bands. First up, you get Ascendancy, and they get a song each. So Ascendancy's kind of, I don't know, black death metal sort of thing. I wasn't really familiar with them, actually. Sort of kind of mid-paced, melodic sort of style, really echoey, raspy kind of vocals. I missed their, A Manifest of Imperious Destiny EP, but I think I might have to grab it because I was pretty impressed with their track. The winner track on this for me is Chaotian with their Sewage Spa. Oh, sorry, no, that's not them. That's Vectors of Pestilence's Chaotian. They're just really full-on death metal. Just kind of Florida meets New York death metal sort of style. Just, yeah, lots of immolation style. And, yeah, pretty bloody full-on. For some reason, their, Effigies of Obsolescence LP didn't really blow me away, but after listening to this and a split that we'll be getting to shortly, yeah, I'm quite liking Chaotian. I don't know why. That album, I think they got a couple of albums actually, so yeah, I might have to track down a bit more of them, I think. Septage, I think this is their last. It's like a gore grind band from Denmark, or was. I think they just ended, so this is probably their last release, I'd say. Yeah, they got a weird riffing style. It's not my favourite, I got to say. The Sequestrum track on here, Harvesting the Body Form, was pretty freaking killer. It's like death grindy kind of band. It's got David from Undergang on guitar and his usual super deep vocals. And I think all members are credited with vocals on this, and some are shifted, and it just sounds bloody killer. I've really got to track down their I think they're split with that, I think, Polish band, maybe Snet. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Definitely got to grab that one. So, yeah, well keen for an album from Sequestrum. So, this is just on black vinyl, but much like the previous version. Comes with, you know, little write-ups on each of the band and old geezer giant-style lyrics for blind old buggers like me, plus most ridiculously huge poster. So, yeah, very good. So, this works very effectively as a taster for all these bands. So, yeah, highly recommended. Also from Extremely Rotten Productions is Ruin split with Rotting Graves. This is a Grave Slaughter split. This came out on Dark Recollections. So yeah, this is two death metal bands. Amusingly, the Ruin tracks on here. I love Ruin. I just bought them on that Plague Transmissions Volume 3 compilation, so it was a bit of a waste, but the Rotting Grave stuff's bloody killer as well. But yeah, the Ruin, you get 4 tracks on that, and yeah, they're just slimy, rancid death metal. I love their sound so much. Really detuned and splattery, horrible vocals. I think it's Exhumation in 5,000 cuts. Sort of slows it down a bit for those guys. Plus there's some really nice sort of eerie lead work on Blood Devastation. And I think Heather is the one with the usual slightly sketchy, but I assume it's from, well, actually, I don't know if it is from a horror movie. Sample about a child wanting to kill their parents, and I think they might have killed their brother or something, so let's hope it's from a movie. So yeah, that's effective as always from those guys. The Rotting Grave stuff, I was unfamiliar with them. They're a Mexican band from Guadalajara. They're very thick-sounding, sort of old-school death metal. Bit of a Swedish sound that, yeah, it's always going to win with me. Yeah, I really like their style. It's really booming, organic drum sound as well. There's no plastic clicking or anything here. Just sounds tough as hell. I really enjoyed their stuff. They don't appear to have an album yet. They do have a split with Leprophiliac that I've managed to not pick up. So, yeah, that's now a bit more on the radar, I think. So, yeah, nothing too exciting, really. You just get lyrics and not much else, but yeah, come on, Rotting Grave, do an album, because that was very potential. And I mean, Ruin, they rule as always. So yeah, I was very happy with this one. All right, another one that Extremely Rotten Productions themselves put out. This is Chaosian split with Inquisitor. So yet again, more Danish death metal. So yeah, both are Danish, and the Chaosian stuff on this absolutely bloody rules. Blew me away, this one. Very heavy sound. So yeah, I mean, it's members of Sequestrum and Frenelith, so in true Danish incestuous form. As I said in the previous one, they're pretty US death metal-y sounding, like, you know, Immolation meets Incantation sort of style, but yeah, got their own thing as well. Really nice, deep, clear vocals. Lots of, it's got some sick sort of raspy bits, but lots of long sort of E's, not Chris Barn. Just good deep E's. As I said, I really need to get some more of these guys, because this is friggin' impressive, I've got to say. They got 3 songs on here. Yeah, they're all rule. They all rule, really. The Inquisitor stuff, I don't know, it sounds a bit odd in comparison. The drums are either too loud or the guitar's too quiet. The music's still bloody good, fastish sort of death metal. It's probably a bit more chaotic than Chaosian, which is amusing, but it just has this sort of unhinged quality that I really like. But just, yeah, the production's just a bit dry, a bit sort of weird sounding. I don't know. Plus the last song has no vocals. It's just got like a lengthy spoken wordy sample thing about what it means to be human or something or other. And yeah, it's a bit of a waste, I reckon. Should have sung over it. I mean, the stuff is killer. It might be okay by itself, but coming straight after 3 much better produced tracks from Chaosian, it's, yeah, I probably should have put Inquisitor on first, so to build up to the extreme goodness. So, but yeah, both these bands bloody rule, but yeah, Chaosian wins this one for quite a while, I think. While I was doing the order from Extremely Rotten Productions, I saw this one just sitting there. This is the tape that goes with Noxious Ruin magazine volume 6. So, but I can't say I've actually listened to this, to tell the truth. My tape deck is still playing up, and yeah, I don't like the sound that comes out when I try and play something on it, so I'm not going to risk it. But this has a lot of good bands on it. Static Abyss, Zompantly, Morg Breath, Repute Death, Sequestrum, Hammer of Gore, Druid Lord, Vile Spawn, Puke Mutant. I want to hear what Puke Mutant sound like. So yeah, sorry, this is a pretty crappy review of this. Plus, I don't actually have volume 6 of the actual fanzine that it comes with, which is a shame. I've got volume 10, and that's my only one so far. So, yeah, total fucking death. Yeah. So, I probably bought this just because, you know, I like buying compilations of lots of bands that I haven't even heard of half these bands. Plus, also the fact that it has the Static Abyss song, and I'm a bit of a Chris Reifert fanboy and buyer of everything I can of him. So I'm sure this is a bloody good tape. One day I'll listen to it, I promise. All right, and lastly from Extremely Rotten Productions, I grabbed this one. This is Morg Breath with their something very long in Spanish. I'm not going to bother. Yeah, you can bloody read it. This is not an album. I will say that. I've been chatting with Ivo, the main dude from this band, and he's like, no, it's just a live 4-track that they put out just so they had something to tour with, so they had something to sell. So this is not really an album. I mean, it's like 15 songs, so could be an album, but yeah, these guys just fast catchy grind, you know, Terrorizer meets Machetezo sort of style. And honestly, for something they threw together one afternoon on a 4-track, this sounds bloody killer, actually. I've had much worse, better produced albums than this. So, yeah, I think this should be an album, but no, it's not officially not an album. So, yeah, really gruff, sort of growled vocals. The drums are nice and loud on this, which is good because half the time with bodgy 4-track recordings, the drums can suffer. So, yeah, you can hear Isaac in all his blasting glory here. It's got a couple of songs tacked on the end from something else. One's a Icons of Filth cover with Billy Smear singing on it. So, yeah, they're different quality production for the last 2 songs. But, yeah, so this is still freaking killer, I got to say. He'd hyped it up as being really shit sounding, and I just thought, I get it anyway, and yeah, sounds pretty great. So, yeah, I'm happy with this. Not an album, but what is an album? And this one arrived finally from Behind the Mountain. This is their latest album from last year, Plaga Sin Rostro, with gunk all over it for some reason. Where did that come from? So, yeah, this is their latest album, properly produced in a studio, no doubt. It probably took several days. Yeah. I rambled about this in my top 20 albums of last year, so I won't go through this in its entirety. But yeah, catchy as hell, blast galore, nasty. It's got a Machetezo cover on it. Really good sound, just not too clean, but you can make everything out really nicely. So yeah, definitely if you want to get any grind, get this one. Maybe get that. Maybe get this if you're really a collector scum like me. But yeah, this one bloody awesome. All right, another one that I'm not going to go into too much detail because it was also in my top 20 albums of last year. This is Aicum Triste with their Hortus Venenum album, which came out on Transcending Obscurity, which is where I got this from. So, yeah, this is the fancy version. Well, actually, all their versions are the fancy versions. I don't know if these guys even put out black vinyl because this is not black. This is vinyl variant number 1, I think. So hand numbered and even comes with a patch. So, but yeah, I won't go into too much detail, just melodic death doom, friggin' killer. This album blew me away. I was really not expecting to love this so much. I've kind of gone back afterwards and listened to some of their earlier ones that really didn't do much for me, to tell the truth. But this one and the previous one, I think Death of Gaia or something or other, I got to track that one down as well because that sounded pretty bloody nice as well. So yeah, this album absolutely bloody rules. All right, up next for a batch I got from Total War Records up in Queensland. Bloody excellent distro. First up, Summon with Fire Turns Everything Black and Devourer of Souls. So, yeah, this is Blind Buy. I thought, man, what the hell? I'd heard, this is one of those bands I'd heard the name around and thought, yeah, what the hell? I'm going to pull the trigger. It wasn't too expensive, so look at that cover art. Can't go wrong with that. So, yeah, this is a Michigan black metal band. I think they've got albums after this. Yeah, pretty sure they've got 3 or so albums, I think. So not sure if they're still going, but this is their early sort of demos. So you get 2 demos, one from 95, one from 92. So the first side's the 95 one, Fire Turns Everything Black. And yeah, that's a lot better produced. Kind of reminds me a bit of a slightly less frantic Absu. Really nice audible bass, which is kind of rare for black metal. There's a bit of a death metal feel to it, but it's just probably more sort of just really riffy black metal. Yeah, I was much more impressed with those songs, I've got to say, than the 92 stuff, which is the Devourer of Souls demo. Yeah, it was recorded on a 4-track, and it sounds like that as well. From what I can actually make out, it's pretty brutal sounding death metal, really. Kind of reminds me of Agoraphobia, Omen of Masochism, their I don't know, EP or whatever that is, and maybe a bit of early Deicide as well. Some pretty powerful growled vocals on here with occasional sort of, bent and high bits as well. It's also like a live song, Hell's Furnace, which sounds even rawer. Bloody hell. But yeah, you get spiffy looking vinyl. I'm not even sure what colour that is, but kind of nice. You do get liner notes, which are somewhat minimal. I'll give them good props, though. Good firework, lads. There's none of these wanky candles. You got like some, brazier or whatever they're called, blowing flames. Love it. Standing around in a shitty old building. So you get some liner notes, but they're kind of weird. Like, they don't even mention that 1992 demo. It's just sort of references them starting in 91 and then fart-assing around in other bands and then goes on to the later demos. It's like, okay, what the hell? So, yeah, it's, but yeah, if you like marginally obscure, I mean, they're probably not that obscure to Americans, but yeah, I can't say I'd really heard much of Summon before this. So, yeah, pretty decent, I reckon. Also from Total War Records is Dismember with their Misanthropic EP. This one was recorded kind of in between Massive Killing Capacity and death metal, so this sounds a shitload better than Massive Killing Capacity, that's for sure. Much more death metal and full on. The guitars sound just tough as hell on this, kind of at the expense of bass, but yeah, well. On this you get, Misanthropic, the song is fast, sort of ripping one, killer twin melodies sort of going on. I think I mostly bought this for Pagan Savior, the Autopsy cover that they do on it, which, I always remember being pretty freaking killer, and it is. No surprise, Autopsy's one of their heroes. So, yeah, I'm not that surprised at all, but it sounds kind of rawer than the first song. I don't know if it's a different... it doesn't seem to be a different recording session or something. Maybe they just tacked it on right at the end, and I don't know. I think it's Shadowlands is pretty bloody nice, more twin harmony action going on there, plus just a mega riff that just rules. While I was writing up my notes for this, I just hoped, they seem to have gotten away from the death and roll and LG worship, and then After Image came on, which, has a bit of that. Still, it's got a killer crunch to it, so it's still pretty freaking tasty as well. So, and I can't even remember the last song. So, I have a feeling I bought that Casket Garden EP that I showed off, I don't know, last time or the time before. I think I bought that thinking it was this and being quite disappointed, seeing I pretty much already had all the other those tracks anyway. But so I'm glad I got this finally. I did have a copy of this back in the day when it came out, just like a CDR or a tape or something. So I'm glad to see this. And I think this might be the first time this is on 12-inch, maybe. I don't know. At any rate, this bloody nice. I'm very happy to get this. I'm slowly working my way up. As far as getting vinyl versions of some of their albums, I do have one of their later ones, I think. The Iron Crosses one, maybe, but still, I don't think I actually own death metal. And they got a self-titled as well. I don't know. For some reason, I just don't have that much later Dismember. I mean, they did go a little too Iron Maiden-y liking at times for my liking, but later Entombed ain't that great either. So, but yeah, this is bloody nice. It's just good sort of balance between it does have a slight bit of the death and roll, but working their way back to death metal, so it's good stuff. All right, the main reason why I did a Total War Records order was to grab this. So Discontent with their Resurrection EP. This is legendary EP recorded back in 1993. This is Discontent LA Death Metal Legends. This, I think, was originally released on their Gothic Records label, which then turned into Dark Realm. This is just a recent reissue on Iron Pegasus, but I don't like my chances of getting one of the real old school ones. I don't think it even came out on 12-inch at first. I think it was just a CD, so... they go for a pretty penny, I think, so I'm happy with the reissue. It doesn't worry me that much. I have had a dub of this or CDR or something or other for quite a while. This is not really new to me, although the B-side stuff is. But so yeah, A-side you just get Resurrection EP by itself, doomy sort of intro and outro tracks. Still a bit of thrash to them, but even in 1993, but it's Slayer thrash, so it's fine by me. There's a bit of, I think it's Asphyxiation, has a bit of a Carcass Symphonies kind of feel to it to me. But on this, I've always loved Bay's vocals. He's got like this raspy sort of style, but also some damn decent growls as well. So the B-side, you get a rehearsal from 93, 2 rehearsals from 95, and 2 live songs from 93, which are all a bit raw sounding, you could say. The A-side's definitely where this one's at, but it's good to have them as well. Like Resurrection sounds a bit sort of slower. It's pretty cool. And yeah, but the live ones, they're just chaos when it goes fast. Asphyxiation. You barely make anything out. Plus, it's got that classic sort of thing of some people, couple of random people standing too close to the microphone just talking the whole time. I kind of enjoy that in live recordings because it is pretty indicative of what gigs are like at times, but it just always sounds kind of amusing. I can't even remember the last 2 rehearsal tracks, but probably pretty raw, I think. So, but you can still hear their dark, grand sort of riffs shine through. But yeah, the straight, I have to show this off. As far as Bands Looking Tough, that I'm pretty sure I did show that in my Bands Looking Tough video as a definite winner. What else do you get? You get lyrics and gloomy looking graveyards, and I think it's on kind of grey kind of vinyl. So yeah, happy to finally have a vaguely, or this is an official version of this, even if it's a reissue, because yeah, this EP friggin' bloody rules. Alright, up next are a couple I got direct from Swano merch. These are Edge of Sanity, their first album, Nothing But Death Remains, and their third album, The Spectral Sorrows. So yeah, this is these are fancy reissues that just came out on Century Media. As you can see, signed by Dan. I kind of hate it when they do that, when I didn't actually ask for him to be signed, but maybe that's an automatic one for his stuff. So we'll start with this. I won't go into too much detail because I've never owned these albums before. Like, I don't know, some weird reason I only had later Edge of Sanity, even though I love Pandemonium so much. Just didn't have copies of these at all for some reason. So not even like tapes or CDRs or anything. So yeah, this is the first album. So on this you get both of these have like remastered and remixed versions as well. So they're both double disc ones. So on this first album from 91 you get the remaster version from 2024. So this is all redone by Dan himself because, well, he's legend producer and main dude of the band. So the remaster of Nothing sounds, it's loud and in your face as most remasters are. I don't have the OGs of these to compare really. So yeah, you could probably find someone else do a better comparison really. But so yeah, remasters is loud, everything up front pretty much. The remix though, which is the second disc, yeah, it's got quieter guitars and vocals, but the drums sound a lot better. So yeah, I think it actually lacks because the guitars have lost a bit of punch. I mean, it does sound a bit better balanced, I've got to say. But yeah, it just sort of lacks a bit of that kick in the nuts kind of feel that you need for death metal. It is nice being able to hear Winter's drums a bit better, I've got to say. But on this, you also get a rough mix from 91, which is, I don't even know if it's the same thing, just unmixed or something, or it's a demo version or something. Who knows? And yeah, those have like no keyboards, and they sound like raw mixes, really. So yeah, if you're a diehard fan, this one, I am still tempted to try and track down an unmastered version, or, you know, the original version of these sort of ones, just to compare, because yeah, it's a pretty bloody good album, really. I'm kind of kicking myself that I haven't had this for years, so I haven't actually listened to them on this stereo. I've listened to them in the car on the way to Canberra, you know, switching the CDs over to compare tracks, and yeah, there's definite differences, that's for sure. Now, with the Spectral Sorrows, you don't get a rough mix, you just get a remaster from 2024 and a remix as well. So this one, the remaster is, yeah, as per usual, quite loud, and way louder than the remix, actually. when I switched them over, because I listened to the remaster first and then switched over to the remix, I had to turn it up like quite a couple of notches just to get it to the same sort of level. Once again, the remix does sound more balanced on this, but it now has quieter drums, which is possibly a good thing because the drums are marginally obnoxiously loud on the remaster version, and the vocals have actually been toned down as well, which is kind of weird seeing he is a vocalist, but anyway. And the sort of melodic bits, like the keyboards, seem a bit more sort of pronounced on the remix on this one, so very interesting to have this. I'm kind of kicking myself. I think there is a LP version as well, because this is one of my favourite Dan Seagrave covers as well, so yeah, I probably should have bought that and asked him not to sign it. So they both come with, like, you know, pretty hefty booklets. I haven't actually read the bio. I mean, you get lyrics and stuff, but I think there is a write-up from Dan in most of these. And yeah, like just a heap of old photos of them looking young. So definite worthwhile purchases for sure. As I said, I could have got the LPs, but yeah, these had all the extra remixy bits. I don't think the LPs had all the same bells and whistles. These did also come with these stupid friggin'... I hate these bloody things, I gotta say. So I don't know what to do with them. I've got a million of them like squashed in a drawer somewhere of other ones. I don't like putting them on the shelf like that because then they get scuffed on the bottom. These ones actually got a little... slight bit water damage, although it doesn't actually look that bad. Yeah, we had a pretty hefty hailstorm on about a week ago at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning. That was quite nice. So yeah, had a ridiculous amount of hail. I'll put a couple of pictures up of our totally trashed garden, which was looking very good beforehand, but yeah, 5 or 6 minutes of very heavy hail just shredded the garden, kind of shredded our sort of perspex plastic pergola area as well. And my dear wife's greenhouse is not looking too good either, but yeah, the garden was like... Plus my nice car, which was in pretty good shape, and now has a whole lot of little bumps on it, which is, yeah, irritating, I've got to say, but it still works. It's all good, but yeah, so unfortunately my study doesn't enjoy really heavy rain, so it was a bit leaky over on that part of the world where these stupid, what are these, O cards or whatever they're called were. So they got marginally damp, but nothing else too much. So I'm happy with that. I think we were a lot better off than the rest of the town, but yeah, still not too pleasant. Anyway. All right, next up I did an order from Brutal Minds, which is a Indonesian sort of label. First up I got a reissue of Gorgasm with their Bleeding Profusely album. So yeah, this is Chicago brutal death metal. So yeah, after I've been enjoying the old reacquaintance with Brodicon, kind of went back to some of the more classic sort of ones, and yeah, for some reason Gorgasm just really clicked for me. Didn't really hear him much back in the day, so I'm glad that I finally got around to appreciate him. I probably prefer the first, I think it's an EP, Stab Wound Intercourse, Charmer, which I'll definitely try and track down as well, because yeah, that sounds pretty nice. But yeah, this is just pretty damn brutal music, just fast as hell, minimal sort of breakdowns. It's as I wrote down, punch you in the face music. I think that's quite a fitting description, I think. But yeah, I mean, when they do breakdowns, they're friggin' tasty though, and they sound a bit better than the fast stuff at times. I think it's what is it? Voracious has this just killer chunky riff in it. Sounds slightly muffled overall, but yeah, double bass fixes all. So, and yeah, these guys have like triple vocal attack, which yeah, kind of keeps it interesting. There's like a weird raspy one. It's like, oh, okay. And also some nice kind of solos, give it a suffocation kind of feel to it, which, and with a name like Gorgasm, you don't really expect nice solos, but they're pretty good. And as far as Suffo goes, this has got Dave Culross on drums, so yeah, you cannot go wrong there whatsoever. Bloody blast master, that guy. As you'd expect with a band called Gorgasm, the lyrics are charming. They appear to have a butthole fixation for some reason on this album, so good work. So yeah, as I said, this is just a reissue on Brutal Mind. Yeah, the next album that came out after this was, I think, 2004 or something or other. The album after this, Masticate to Dominate, sounds pretty friggin' killer as well. So yeah, I think that'll be being added to my collection sometime soon. So yeah, good old Gorgasm. And that cover is pretty tame compared to some of the pictures on the inside. So, and nice people that Brutal Mind are. They threw in this freebie as well. This is Inhuman Devotion with their Inhumanized album, which also came out on Brutal Mind. I've yet to get a plastic case for this one. So, yeah, this is a Japanese brutal death metal sort of band. They've been going since 2021. Mostly Deicide sort of solo, Deicide style double tracked kind of high and low vocals. This is a lot more technical than Gorgasm, that's for sure. There's lots of sort of classy solo action going on, which was a bit unexpected, really. The drums do have that sort of plasticky sounding bit, but they're very well played. What is it? Enter the Doom, I think, is the standout with a bit more tech action and weird time changes. I've really quite enjoyed that. Forsaken's got some really raspy sort of vocals, so yeah, not a bad little score. Probably not something I would have bought on its own, but yeah, thanks Brutal Mind, love your work. Alright, and last but not least, we have Finnish symphonic black metal dudes Varve with the Netherstorm. This is their first album. I just got one of their EPs last month, and which had a couple of tracks that are on this, and yeah, I just got thinking, I started looking for this because I've had this digitally since it came out, but for some reason I thought I owned it, but I guess not. So I just started looking for it, and sure enough, popped up for a decent price on Facebook. Hey, so thanks Universe for looking out for me. It's always one of those things where you're thinking I really want something, and then well, there it is. What do you know? So yeah, really quite decent price. Much appreciated. So yeah, symphonic black metal from Finland. It sounds like Emperor, quite a lot like Emperor. And yeah, I mean the bonus 7-inch that comes with it even has Ancient Queen on it. It's an old Emperor song. So it's very much their style. It's not really stealing stuff directly from Emperor, but it's just that sort of sound of Nightside Eclipse or before. They even have that not quite blast level speed that In the Nightside Eclipse has as well. But the drumming on this is actually really bloody good. It's really good cymbal work. It's I think it's a one-man band at this point. I think it's a full band now, but it's just old mate axe wielder in the middle there, V Chaos or whatever his name is. He does the whole lot on this. So yeah, this is their first of 3 albums. The other 2 albums sound a bit cleaner for my liking. This one has just a perfect sort of level of raw, but you can still hear everything sort of production. It's just not too clean, but not too murky. It's just right. But yeah, the later album's a bit nicer sounding, so I'm still kind of keen to track them down. So next time I do a Hell's Headbanger order or something, I'll maybe chuck those on, I think. For some reason I thought I'd seen that this was being reissued, but can't see anything else about it. So yeah, maybe it was one of their other albums. So this is, I'm not even sure what version this is. The LP's black, but it comes with this like 7-inch as well, and the 7-inch is obviously coloured, but I don't know. It's weird. It's secondhand, I suppose. It sounds bloody nice. So yeah, on this, the sound is really quite good. The vocals are slightly too buried. That's my only real criticism of the sound. So there's heaps of keyboards on this. Gives it a real grand sort of feel, but not too much, and not at the expense of just really killer mid-90s style tremolo black metal. Like, I mean, this is from 2016 or 17 or something or other, so it's not that old, but it sounds like it. And it's good. It's quite measured. It's not ridiculously over the top. It's just really well done. I think it's what is it? Limbo of Abysmal Void is particularly effective, sort of dramatic bit of, kind of choirs sort of bit that just works really bloody well. I mean, the 7-inch that comes with it is 2 songs, Glory of Eternal Night and Night? Yeah. And Ancient Queen. And yeah, it's a bit raw, you could say, that's for sure. The Emperor cover is even more keyboard heavy than the original, which is kind of cool. So, yeah. Very happy to get this one. As I said, I'll track down the 2 other albums eventually, but this one sounds a bit better, I think. So, yeah, lovely stuff. Thanks again, Facebook. Love your work. All right, so that's a lot. Hopefully, I kept that one under under an hour. Yeah, so lots of good fun stuff there. February's already looking pretty hefty as well. So still a few things I've been waiting on for some time. So I'm hoping they'll arrive eventually. But yeah, I've got a few video ideas coming up soon. I got another record label best of sort of one. And one that I just saw today, Cloudy Molder just did a really cool idea for a kind of weird little challenge. So I think I'll be doing that one sooner rather than later because, yeah, it looks like fun. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Cheers.